Saga is a genre of film, TV, and theater portraying historical dramas set in South Korea. While the genre has existed at least as early as the 1920s, non-Korean audiences have probably become more familiar with the style of storytelling with the popularity of shows such as Kingdom, Mr. Sunshine, and The King's Affection, especially as Netflix has acquired more of these properties. While based in a historical context, these stories can include elements of the supernatural, including ghosts, zombies, and even time travel. Saga, a roleplay in Joseon, is the perfect RPG to dive into the political and personal conflicts that make K-dramas beloved. Written by Brian Casebolt of Hassans County, Saga cannot be described as anything other than the product of genuine devotion and meticulous research into the people and setting of the Joseon dynasty. Using a unique blend of the 5 Powers dice system and the Harmony Drive SRD, Saga takes staples of TTRPG design and twists them into an utterly fascinating game. For full disclosure, the author is a Ko-fi supporter and one of the first people I connected with in the indie TTRPG scene. This is a biased review, but in spite of that, I promise you won't regret checking out this game. Saga is set in the Joseon dynasty, specifically from the late 17th century to the mid-19th century. While the dynasty itself lasted for over 500 years, Casebolt seeks to depict an era of relative peace near the end of its reign, before the establishment of the Korean Empire. While social and technological change is ever on the horizon, Joseon holds firm to its traditional beliefs and practices. The nobility maintains significant positions of power, vying for influence over the king in constant political battles. The lower classes are largely subject to the whims of fate, making careers as artisans, laborers, soldiers, and entertainers. There's also an interesting religious conflict brewing in Joseon at the time period, as Buddhists and Mutang strive to maintain what little gains they've made against a hostile Confucian establishment. Taking a look at the skills in Saga provides additional information about what life in Joseon is like. In terms of fighting abilities, you can choose from close combat, archery, or gunnery, which shows that various styles of close quarters and ranged battle are a regular occurrence. More interesting to me, however, is the inclusion of skills such as art, finance, engineering, and handicraft. While it's pretty normal for a TTRPG to have some level of combat involved, the fact that there's whole skills devoted to understanding the themes of a painting or blueprints of a bridge suggests that Saga wants players to engage with the world on a much deeper level than hacking and shooting. This emphasis on connecting with cultural and societal norms and products fits perfectly with the kinds of court intrigue and everyday problems faced by characters in popular K-dramas. Since Saga draws so heavily from actual serialized television, it's recommended that players break their game up by story arcs. At character creation, each player will choose an aspiration, an important personal goal that serves as the motivation for their PC. This aspiration can be as straightforward as advancing through the government, to as fraught as tracking down a missing person. However, since every story arc focuses only on one or two characters' main stories, Saga encourages working in other players' aspirations as B-plots, laying groundwork for upcoming sessions while still including everyone in play. Once every character has either accomplished their aspiration or made significant progress toward it, the season of gameplay is over. New aspirations are chosen, and a new narrative is prepared, just like at the end of a season of television. To make progress towards their aspirations, players will use Saga's take on the elemental dice system. Whenever a character takes an action, they'll build 2 pools of dice to represent the forces of Yang and Yin, and the ways in which their choices will introduce chaos into the world's balanced status quo. The Yang pool is tallied based on positive factors influencing the action: the character's approach or base stat bonus, favorable circumstances, and skill proficiencies. The Yin pool adds detractions, namely the difficulty of the task before the character, and any complicating factors. When each pool is rolled, the results of the dice are compared against each other. Using a table based on the 5 elemental powers of Chinese metaphysics, players will go through the results of both pools and cancel out dice depending on which elements they represent. The action's success is determined by whether the Yang or Yin pool has the most remaining die. While this die system may take a little getting used to, I think it fits perfectly with the setting and themes Saga is working to achieve. Saga rewards characters for making narrative progress. When a character completes a story arc, they gain an arc advancement, which allows them to add a new skill to their roster or improve their expertise in an existing skill. Similarly, achieving a character's aspiration, or at least progressing it in some meaningful way, grants a milestone advancement. Milestone advancements allow an increase of a character's base stats as well as an additional ability that makes sense as far as their background or profession. It's a fairly simple progression structure that supports the game's goals in an easy-to-implement manner. I think that's what I like best about Saga. The game structure is built entirely around the premise that your table is producing their own K-drama. Even the base stats are named not after inherent qualities, but the ways in which a particular character would approach a given task. You can tell a lot about a character just by the way that you invest points into daring as opposed to subtlety. Furthermore, the long list of backgrounds grounds your character in the world, and giving them both a mechanical use as well as connecting backgrounds to level ups emphasizes Casebolt's desire for you to fully inhabit a character. Saga rewards you for playing your part in the story of your world, and I think that rules. I'm guessing the people who hear this review are mostly not going to be fans of Kingdom or The Crowned Clown. Role-playing in a historical setting you're unfamiliar with can be daunting. In spite of that, you should still give Saga a try. There's a great list of resources to learn more about the Joseon dynasty at the back of the book, but even if you don't want to do a ton of research, it seamlessly integrates elements of history alongside its main text. If you've wanted more roleplay, if you've wanted more drama and hijinks, and if you want your next game to feel like a TV show, I think you're going to love what Saga is doing. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody who takes the time to look through all these videos. If you've got ideas for a game that you'd like me to recommend, please go ahead and drop those in the comments. And if you want to help me grow my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you recommend it to a friend. If you like my work also, you should definitely check out Hassan's County YouTube channel. It's got a lot more of the same YouTube TTRPG reviews and breakdowns that I do here. If you like what I do, you can check out my other podcasts at The Bible Boys and at Mortified Pod, where me and my friends talk about Christian media and do critical media analysis. Lastly, I just released a Wretched and Alone journaling game, Forsaken, where you try to survive the Christian apocalypse as depicted in the Left Behind novels. If that sounds like your very specific brand of tabletop game, please check that out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around.